Here we'll discuss about virtual private cloud VPC. So this is one of the core service. You can say this is some networking service, and you should have some network knowledge. If not, we'll learn the VPC properly so that you will have some knowledge about your network, your VPC, your IP addressing, those things, how to allocate, what is public IP, what is private IP, those things we will cover. We'll also cover like AWS, what is AWS private cloud, what is the VPC components, what are the VPC types, the implied router, how routing is possible in the VPC, route tables, VPC IP addressing. We'll see how address, I will manage those IPs. Local IPs means your private IPs. We'll also discuss internet gateway, public subnet, private subnet, elastic IP addresses, security groups, network ACLs, NAT instance, NAT gateway, VPC flow logs, VPC peering, transit gateway, customer gateway, virtual private networks, and AWS Direct Connect. And also we'll practice and we'll try to create almost all things in this VPC. So first of all, what is VPC? What is a virtual private cloud? So suppose you want to create your own data center, or suppose you are trying to set up your own office, or so maybe you are having some hundreds of developers or thousands of developers, and you are going to create your own office. So first of all, you have to set up one VPC there, virtual private cloud there, or any you have to set up your network, and your one network admin will come, and they will set up your PC, and they will provide you one IP address, right, to communicate with each other. That is also possible in VPC, in your AWS. In your AWS infrastructure, you are going to set up your own data center, and you have to set up those uh, you set up your virtual network there, right? So this is the solution. The solution is the VPC from the AWS side. VPC is the service. You can uh, set up your own network. So this is a virtual network or a data center inside a AWS for one client or a department in an enterprise. The AWS client has full control over your resources and virtual compute instances hosted inside the VPC. This is the similar to having your own data center inside AWS. This is similar to they will provide you a logical area, and you can set up your own data center, you can say. And this is logically isolated from other VPCs. So if you create one VPC or two VPC, every VPC is logically isolated from each. You can have one or more IP addresses, subnets inside a VPC. A VPC is confined to one AWS region and does not extend it between regions. So your VPC will be region specific. In one region, you can create one VPC. And no, you can create more VPCs, but it will not go beyond to that region. But in case of Google Cloud, their VPCs as like local, like they can communicate to many regions in case of Google. But in AWS, they are specific to one region only.
I didn't get it, Nirmal. Can you please explain one more time?
If you create one VPC in AWS, that VPC is only the region specific. We are having like some 17 to 18 region. If you create one VPC, then that VPC will specific to that region. Your VPC will applicable to that region only. Means your EC2 instance. Suppose you are creating one EC2 instance and taking some IP address, that will be that region specific. So if any doubt, we can discuss in the latter point, because this is like if you don't have any network knowledge, so this will be it will take more time to understand this VPC.
You said something about Google Cloud and some difference about Google Cloud and
Yes,
AWS. So
in the Google Cloud, in the GCP, if you create one VPC, that is they will take all the regions.
okay. So that VPC
Is
can be accessed
spread over
from.
all the regions.
Okay.
See, let me show you. Yeah, means VPC is one networking concept.
No, I
So
understood that, but you said some difference between this VPC is confined to AWS region, to a particular region, and in Google Cloud, you said the VPC is not confined to any
no,
particular
they are
region.
VPCs. They in Google they are telling their VPCs are local means if I create one VPC and inside the VPC I can launch one instance in India region, and in the same VPC I can launch one instance from USA region.
Okay,
Their
understood.
VPC is spread over all the regions, I can say. But in case of AWS, this is one region specific. If you create a VPC in your USA region and
Mm.
and you are trying to launch one instance from UK region, you cannot do that. You have to launch the instance from the UK VPC. But VPC cannot spread over more than one region.
It is for AWS only.
Yeah, it is AWS only.
Okay. And what
But
do you mean?
similar concept, yeah, similar concept in Azure, similar concept in other cloud service provider. VPC is concept is there in all the cloud providers.
Okay. And what do you mean by you can have one or more IP address subnets inside a VPC?
Yes,
What?
actually VPC is like providing you the IP address. See, suppose you are going to suppose you are using some your instance or some laptops, right? And you are connecting to another device, maybe that device in other region. So how we are going to connect?
Okay.
You are going to connect using one IP address. You are using some domain name, but after internally this domain is converted to an IP address. So every device have some IP address, maybe IPv4, maybe IPv6. IPv4 means okay. Let me explain.
No, my point is why they are saying it a subnet.
Yeah,
My
I'll tell you. Subnet is some partition of your VPC. You can say subnet is a part. Like suppose your IP address, IPv4. IPv4 like your uh, 56, for example, this is one IPv4 address. Like this is 8 bit, this is 8 bit, this is 8 bit, and this is 8 bit. Total is 32 bit. The size of IPv4 is 32 bit, and this IP range can be 0 to 255. The first IP can be 0 to 255. Same for the second, same for the third, same for the fourth. You might have seen some IP address, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah, the IP address is like this way, or maybe this one maybe 125, and maybe last this is 255, and it will not go beyond 255 because its range is 0 to 2.
0 to 255, yes.
This is bit,
Yes,
8 bit.
yes.
Yes. So to communicate, suppose you want to design some network in your AWS environment, and you want to design your subnets and your VPCs. So you have to provide some IP range so that in this specific IP my instances should communicate.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll do one by one.
Okay,
Okay.
no
Just,
problem.
no problem.
Yeah, we can discuss it later.
Yeah. And see the VPC components. VPC components is the one is CIDR block. that is our IP range that we are defining, and IP addresses of a subnets. Another component is the implied router. Next is route table, internet gateway, security group, then network ACL. So let me explain. So implied router is a router to routing your traffic from your private cloud. It will be routing your traffic. Implied router. You can say some router. You are buying some router, right? Some physical router. This is the logical router of AWS. One route table. Route table means you have to define your routing, like this much of IP is going to. You are just writing the route rules in the routing tables. I'll show you everything. Then internet gateway. Internet gateway is a gateway to transfer your communication to internet from your local. You are using some local network, and from that local network, using this internet gateway, you will transfer your traffic to outside. Next is security group. Security group is security firewalls, and using the security group, you can restrict some traffic, or you can allow some traffics from outside to your EC2 instance, or from your EC2 instance to outside. But in our EC2 instance demo, we have just uh, taken the default security group, and here we will discuss detail about in security group and how you are going to create some security rules using security group. Network access control list. This is also one group, and this is applicable in subnet level. Right. Then VPC type. VPC type is one is default VPC. This is created in each AWS region when AWS account is created. Has a default CIDR block and a default security group, a default NACL, and a route table setting. Has an internet gateway by default. So also added one internet gateway. But in case of custom VPC means you are going to create. Default VPC means one each region provided by AWS. AWS created one VPC for you. That is the default VPC. And along with VPC, they have also given some default CIDR block, default security group, default NACL, default route table settings, and also one internet gateway. But in case of custom VPC, suppose you are going to create one VPC, and for that they will give you have to create one VPC for account basis. And AWS user creating the custom VPC can decide block. You have to provide the IP range. Okay, I need this range of IP for my EC2 instance. You have to also provide that range. Has its own default security group. So one default security will be given to you, one NACL will be given to you, and one route table will be given to by the AWS. But they will not provide an internet gateway by default. If you need, you have to create one internet gateway. So before that, let me okay. I think today now it's time, so we'll discuss tomorrow.